The gByte campaign is a campaign to help end the gender gap in computer science and open more opportunities for girls to learn STEM-based and entrepreneurial skills. The importance for this campaign is necessary, as in 1995, 37% of computer scientists were women. In 2017, the number dropped to 24% and is predicted to drop to 22% by 2027. What we have recently discovered is what if it's not just the field of computer science that is the issue, but the opportunity to learn that is failing our girls. The gByte campaign deals with women's empowerment and student activism as we fight to help improve STEM programs in schools. We are so fortunate to be working with so many women who have the same passion that we do, some who actually work in computer science, and others who do not know much about it, but work so hard to improve it within their schools. We are the gByte campaign, and this is our movement.
Hi, I'm Sam Almasi. I'm a senior on this robotics team. This is my second year.
Hello, my name is Zalitza Nejeva. I am currently an associate staff member at MIT Lincoln Lab working on cybersecurity.
Hello, I'm Charlotte Feudy. I am a senior on the first robotics team.
I wanted to go into nursing and kind of more towards that field, but I'm still really interested in things like robotics and engineering. My dad was an engineer, and so I feel like I kind of got that from him.
My mother is a programmer and my father is an electrical engineer. So growing up, I always had this connection to technology, and robotics just turned into a natural progression, and that's how I ended up at a robotics club.
Mostly what I do is band and robotics.
It's a little bit of everything, but I definitely enjoy doing something different here in robotics.
I have too many hobbies, but a lot of them do involve just making things.
Here specifically, more like building stuff.
When I'm usually here, I try to do a little bit of everything. I kind of like more the electrical side of it, kind of like the wiring, the putting things together, the electrical circuits that make the robot run.
In the robotics club, I'm currently a mentor. I was a team member about 4 years ago. I went through the whole cycle, freshman to senior, from member to captain. I primarily worked on programming things, though I'm hoping that as a mentor I can come back and do these things again.
I do more of the mechanical stuff.
I think a lot of it came from my dad. It was always pushing he was an electronic engineer, and so he always kind of gave me that interest and kind of showed me what he was doing. I feel like it's really cool to build something out of scratch and have these complex systems that all work together.
First into robotics club, I was most interested just about making things. I really wanted a chance to just kind of build stuff, and then from there I learned more about software development, and there I kind of jumped into cybersecurity, which is where I'm working now.
A friend recommended it to me, and so I thought I'd stop by, and I just kept coming because it was really fun.
It's really fun. I've learned a ton being here. When I came in, I had no idea what a soldering iron was and how I've definitely learned a lot about how to engineer, about how to build things. I can definitely do a lot more than I think a lot of guys can.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's like one big family. I just came back for one day and nothing has changed. It's such a warm welcome.
It's awesome. It's really a family, and going to the competitions and stuff, and watching what we've worked on for so long compete is really awesome.
I feel like it's definitely given me a different perspective on it, where I've always kind of felt isolated, where you see STEM and the science, technology, engineering, and math, and so I felt like my views on science were more, biology and stuff, and I kind of didn't feel that connection to technology, engineering, and math, and now I feel like there's definitely an integration of that.
Absolutely. So coming out of the robotics club when I graduated, I went straight and majored into computer science, primarily because of the robotics club. From there, it just kind of snowballed into my current career, and things have just been going from there.
Yeah, it's definitely opened up a lot of options that I wasn't sure about before. It's gotten me more interested in that field.
I've always kind of been confused when I go to activities like this and there isn't a majority of girls. It's usually almost always a majority of guys, and there's really no reason for it. I mean, it's just the same thing, the same technology, is the same process. It doesn't really matter if you're a guy or a girl. So I definitely think that more girls should get involved, because there's nothing really holding any girl back from doing it just because she's a girl. And it's definitely such a booming and interesting field to go into.
It'd be nice. It's kind of hard to get into when you're a girl and you walk into a room with a bunch of guys and you don't know what you're doing and you're really new and everything looks really scary at first. In that sense, I think that, the robotics club is a good way, but it's hard to really make those connections.
That would be great, because I know there aren't a lot of females in this field and there aren't that many of us here. It's only two or three on most days, so that would be really great.
My name is Robin Tusseri, and I'm a Technology Integration Specialist at Freeman Kennedy, grades 3 through 6 in Norfolk, Massachusetts.
My name is Kim Tolson, and I'm the Library Director at the Millis Public Library, and I also run the Girls Who Code Club here.
My name is Allison Ferris. I am currently a software developer consultant at Microsoft based out of DC, where I get to work with multiple government agencies to help them solve their complex problems with Microsoft technologies and cloud applications.
About 5 years ago, I decided to kind of change course a little bit, and I left the classroom and I became the Technology Integration Specialist here at Freeman. And that was a very, very exciting and positive change. It opened up a lot of avenues for me that I kind of wasn't aware of, and one of them being computer science. I transformed our computer lab to a makerspace, and I've been learning right alongside my students. Last year I hosted a Girls Who Code Club, and that was kind of under the premise of you didn't really need to know a ton about coding, but you could still lead girls through a process to create a project that has a positive impact on society. And they went above and beyond with that, creating a website geared for girls that don't live at home with their mom for any number of reasons. They brought their talents, they used Scratch, they designed components of the website, they did many things. That some things I could help them with, some things I learned, like I said, right alongside them, but that was definitely a really eye-opening experience for me in terms of learning that only 20% of computer science graduates are female. So having two daughters myself, that was very eye-opening and alarming to me, and something that I wanted to do my part and kind of shift.
I've been working in public libraries for about 8 years, and before I took this position, I had been working in youth services, so I've been working with kids and teens for a long time, and I really like doing that. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start the Girls Who Code Club here. I also have an interest in technology, which is another reason why I wanted to start the club.
So I graduated from the University of Alabama, and I majored in the Management Information Systems program. It wasn't until I started exploring music software like GarageBand and apps that mesh music together that I realized how technology was an integral part of anything and everything in our world today. I then realized and recognized the opportunities that I had to be able to innovate and be creative in the field of technology. And that's when I learned about the Management Information Systems program, and ultimately that paved my way into interviewing for my current role at Microsoft.
I work with students. I teach, and I am trying to bring it to our school so that it's a more consistent offering. It's not just kind of an aside, a club. The standards are changing. They have changed, and I'm hopeful in the next several years we'll see it as a core component of what students learn at the elementary level. I've been very involved with Hour of Code and code.org, and a lot of the support that comes from that says just that it should be right alongside math and reading and social studies and science. So I'm hoping that is something that we'll see in the very near future.
So I don't do too much with computer computer science. Besides kind of maintaining the library's website, we use WordPress, which is a content management system to manage our website. So I've used that a lot.
So when I started out at Microsoft, I was able to learn from a lot of different mentors in the app dev space, but particularly in the cloud application space. So I do a lot of work with people and enterprise clients, and I get to work with them and collaborate in understanding what issues that they're having, how can we work with the information and the data that they need, and I help to build out what they see and how they leverage the interfaces that they interact with on a day-to-day basis to help improve the efficiency and effectiveness of their jobs.
I think for me, recognizing it as kind of a gap in the core curriculum, and if there was something that I could do on a club or kind of an extension basis, it was something that I wanted to do. So kind of any opportunity that I'm able to bring that to students, I take advantage of that.
I like working with young people, and I really didn't see a lot for girls that are kind of in middle school, high school, to do with coding. I also, I really believe in the mission of Girls Who Code, to get more girls interested in computer science and to kind of help them build confidence and skills in that area. So that's part of the reason. The other reason is I'm just interested in learning more about coding, so I was hoping, that I would also pick some more stuff up.
Like I mentioned before, I lived and breathed music. I was classically trained growing up, and when I discovered this world of music software and engineering, that was something that really sparked my interest in figuring out where I had a place in the tech field. Another thing that really kept me in the field of tech was when I really started to realize how it's everywhere and in everything.
Absolutely. I think what immediately pops into my head, I think it's one of the posters for code.org, the Hour of Code, as I mentioned. I think it was Barack Obama who said, don't just play on your phone, program it. And I think that you can take almost any idea and create. And that's what we do here in the makerspace, the idea of what can you create? A lot of the products that we have, whether it's Little Bits or the Makey, it's not look what they did, it's what can you do? And I think that provides just endless opportunity for entrepreneurship. I think a lot of the skills that are required, the collaboration, we talk about the 4 C's, collaboration, constructive thinking. I think all of those things apply in both areas, both entrepreneurship and computer science.
The connection is that a lot of the skills that are required for entrepreneurship are the same skills that you build doing coding. Like in the Girls Who Code club, the attributes of bravery, but taking chances and kind of not being afraid to try something that you haven't done before. Those kind of things are things that you learn with coding, and also things that you kind of need to be able to even get into entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. Entrepreneurship is something that I wish I had learned more about in college, but I'm actually considering going back to learn more about this field. But entrepreneurship and computer science and innovation go hand in hand. For me, nothing is more exciting than to be able to come together with a team and ideate and build out something that is fresh and new and leveraging the latest and greatest technology.
The more the better. I think that it should be, I wish it almost wasn't a need to have something like Girls Who Code, that it was just, kids who code, and that it brought equal parts, and that gender wasn't an issue. But because it is, I think that it's so important to keep talking about it and keep providing opportunities.
Kind of activities that are really targeted to girls is really important, because those are skills that are needed in our society and in a lot of careers. So I think it's important to make that a priority.
It's absolutely necessary that we encourage and motivate women and girls to not only be open-minded to pursuing scientific fields, but to be able to incorporate what you love to do through those fields. It's so much more than just sitting behind a computer programming every single day. Because believe it or not, programming is probably the last part of what I would do in terms of starting a project. I get to interact with people every single day. I get to empathize with them and understand what it is that they are really having problems with. What is it that they're having challenges with? And so being able to collaborate and work is something that I really love and something that I didn't think technology was about. You know, when I took my first programming class, I was one of maybe 10 other girls in a class of 100. Having all of my different passions come full circle into my role and into my job and experience as a woman in tech is something that I want to pay forward and to ensure that you all know that there is room for everyone.